Guys, I'm currently in Rugeley outside the old town hall, or where the old town hall used to be, sorry. I've just been talking to Maria out of Peak Health Foods. If anyone needs any Superman juice, then get yourself in there, because she's bloody lovely. Anyway, the market town hall, whatever you want to call it, let's get into it, guys.
Today, the marketplace in Rugeley still feels like the centre of town. But the building that once gave this space even more importance is long gone. Before the later Victorian Town Hall was built, the old town hall stood here in the marketplace itself, right in the middle of everyday life. This wasn't a building that was tucked away for officials only, it stood where ordinary people would have passed it all the time. Whether they were coming into town for the market, meeting someone in the street, or simply just moving through the busiest part of Old Rugeley. The old town hall was probably built towards the end of the 18th century, around 1790, and it seems to have been made for more than one purpose. The lower part had open arches, which made sense in a market town, because the space beneath the building could be used around the market, while the rooms above were used for meetings, assemblies and town business. That's what makes it different from the way we might think about the town hall today. It was not simply a council building, and it wasn't just somewhere that decisions were made behind closed doors. It was part of the working life of the town, because the market and the business of Rugeley all moved around it. One of the clearest details about the old town hall is that Rugeley's fire engine was once kept there. That might sound like a small detail now, but at the time it would have mattered a great deal, because there was no modern fire station waiting in the background with engines ready to leave at a moment's notice. If a fire broke out in Old Rugeley, the town needed its equipment kept somewhere central, where people could reach it quickly and get it moving. The marketplace was the obvious place for that, because it was already the part of town where people gathered, where people knew where to go, and where help in the form of bells could be called for. And that detail gives the old town hall a much more practical feel. It was not only a symbol of local authority, and it was not only there for meetings and public rooms. It was also the place where the town kept something ready for danger at a time when fire was one of the biggest risks facing any old market town. You have to imagine Rugeley with open fires, timber houses with straw roofs, and buildings close enough together for fire to spread quickly. In that kind of town, keeping the fire engine at the old town hall was not just convenient. It was part of how the town tried to protect itself, much like it did in Lichfield. The old town hall also sat in the middle of social life in the marketplace. People would have known it as a landmark, but also as a place connected with meetings, local decisions and the daily movement of the town. It gave the marketplace a focus, because this was not only a place for trade, but also the place where Rugeley's public life had a centre. But there was another side to this old public world, and it's one of those details that makes the marketplace feel very different from the town centre we know today. In one of three arches of the old town hall, the marketplace also held the stocks. I found an old article from the Rugeley Times from 1939, where Mrs. Price of Wolseley Road was remembering the Rugeley of her childhood. She was described as probably Rugeley's oldest inhabitant, and one of the things that she recalled was that it wasn't unusual to see a number of prisoners fastened in the stocks in the marketplace. That's a strong memory, because she was not describing something that she'd only heard about from someone else. She remembered it as part of the town she'd known as a child, and the way it's worded makes it sound like the stocks were a familiar sight, rather than just some rare event that only happened once. The stocks weren't hidden away from public view, they were a place where people could see them. And that was the whole point. Anyone coming into the marketplace could have seen prisoners fastened there. Whether they were there to shop, trade, meet someone, or simply just pass through the centre of Rugeley. I don't have any names of people that were fastened to the Rugeley stocks. I've not been able to find any in the time that I give myself to make these videos, and it'd certainly be wrong of me to invent names just to make a story sound better. But the stocks were usually used for the kind of offences that happened in public, like drunkenness, disorderly behaviour, vagrancy, or people just causing trouble around the town. So the stocks were not the main story of the old town hall, but they do tell us something important about the world around it. The same marketplace where people gathered for the market, where the fire engine was kept ready, and where the town's business was carried out. Well, it was also the place where law and order could be shown openly. Later on, the stocks were also remembered in another part of Rugeley. A 1957 interview recorded that Martin Loynes, who was born around 1869, remembered seeing someone in the stocks outside the police station in Horsefair during the 1870s. That police station stood just off where the Globe Island is now, which gives us a modern point of reference for where that later memory belongs. So we got some of the oldest memories put in the stocks at the marketplace, and the more recent ones placing them outside the police station on the Globe Island. I always wonder whether they were moved there, replaced there, or simply remembered there later on. Was there a new set of stocks built just for the police station on the Globe Island? And where are these stocks now? Either way, I think the important point's that they were remembered in places where ordinary people would have seen them. The old town hall itself was eventually demolished when the newer town hall and the market hall were built in 1878 and 1879. That marked a real change in the town because the older building in the market place disappeared, and Rugeley moved into a more Victorian version of civic life. But even though the old town hall has gone, the story of it still changes the way you look at the marketplace. This was where the town hall stood in the middle of daily life, and where the market moved around it, where people gathered for public business, and where the fire engine was once kept ready in case the town needed it. And close by, in that same older marketplace, the stocks remind us that law and order was not always something hidden behind doors. Sometimes it was shown openly in front of the people who lived there, as part of ordinary public life in the town. So the old town hall was not just a lost building from Rugeley's past, it was part of a much older way of using the town centre, where the marketplace was the place that people came to trade, the place people came to meet, and the place where local business was carried out. Anyway, if you could place someone in the stocks of Rugeley Town Centre today, who would it be?